My name is Scott Roberts. I'm the course manager here at Basingstoke Golf Club. I've been the course manager here for coming up to 5 years now and working with the club for 9 years. We were in a very unique situation. So 5 years ago, we relocated from our existing golf course in Kempshott to our new site in the village of Dummer. The site's turned from a clay golf course to a chalk golf course, and our first immediate concern was these large valleys in the golf course, which we think are really beautiful parts of the course that we want to really embrace as part of the routing, the new routing that we've designed along this bit of land. In order to enhance them, we have to make sure we can maintain them properly. But with some steep slopes, very large slopes consistently through the golf course, we were just struggling to find the right machine to help maintain those areas. So the reason we went for Ventrac was purely for the value for money. Machinery is very expensive, and when we're trying to justify these purchases to the club, to the committees, to our board, it can be very challenging. But when you can say you can buy a machine which can then have multiple attachments put onto it for a huge reduction in price compared to buying individual machines which are purely dedicated for one job, was a big positive for us. Yeah, it's been a huge improvement. We have 10 members of staff, including myself. So being able to have one person go out and do several different jobs by just having to come back, quickly change the attachment that's on it, going from a tough rough deck to a contour deck, or going from, if it's project work, from a power rake to a stump grinder when we're doing woodland management, it's much easier than having to have a few people there to help changing the equipment that's needed for the job. So we've got a large selection of attachments for our Ventracs now. So we've got 2 basic machines, and then from that we've got 2 contour decks, a tough rough deck, a semi-rough machine, a sweep brush, stump grinder, and a power rake as well. So just the huge variation we got of all the jobs from the 2 machines can do about 6-7 different jobs. The brush we use not just for clearing the car park, but also on the golf course if we want to try and clear off some debris. We've also been utilising it for the steep banks where we're trying to manage our fescue. We can mow it with the tough rough deck, then use the brush to sweep that to the bottom of the hill so that we can collect it efficiently. The power rake's really good for regenerating the pathways, re-levelling them, as well as rotavating some areas that we've been improving. We've got the contour decks, which we use for just general rough areas, and then the tough rough deck, which again, fescue management as well as any long overgrown areas in the golf course. We've had a lot of challenges. First, it was the terrain, it was the slopes that we have. So having a machine which can safely manoeuvre on these slopes while still maintaining it to the standard that we want to get to has been a huge help. Also, the unique situation of when we've been growing the golf course in, we're trying to find machinery which is going to have low ground pressure. So the first machine we've been using to cut vast areas that have been newly seeded has been our Ventrac with the contour deck. Again, less ground pressure, so we can just get on that, get that first cut without damaging the surface too much. Yeah, with social media. I think social media is a very powerful thing these days. So I saw a picture of it climbing up one of the steep slopes and it looked quite interesting. We tried it a few times at our previous golf course when we didn't have the need for the steep slopes, but it still looked like an interesting machine. Yeah, so people have nicknamed it the Swiss Army knife of greenkeeping because there are so many different attachments for that one machine, which is really helpful for us. So we could see several different areas in which it would be useful to us. And then after coming onto this site, and we realised that we had to have one for the steep slopes, and then from then it's just gained more and more positives from that. 100%. I think if you've got any challenging slopes, I think this is one of the best ways that you can safely have your team operate on them. And also, if you're at a club which is sort of struggling to justify these big purchases, this is much easier to buy the Ventrac in a single attachment, and then you can just keep adding to that slowly as years come on.